मेसेज एते काहे करछो यार? सेम टाइम कोन पठौची? Yeah, sorry sir, actually in between actually
Okay, some interruption happened. Okay, it's fine. Fine. So all of you are back, or some people are not yet joined the meeting?
sir will just wait for 1 minute.
Yes, sure.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. This is Manoj Kumar Pradhan.
Go, Manoj, go.
Sir, ମୁଁ ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ ex serviceman, sir.
Acha.
I'm retired from Navy, sir. After
Kundu.
10 years doing the service, I leave the service in 2017, sir. Sir, ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ତ ମୁଁ OCS ପାଇଁ prepare କରୁଛି, sir. କିଛି କହିପାରିବେ କି UPSC ପାଇଁ cumulative age relaxation କେମିତି ରହୁଛି?
Okay.
ମୁଁ
5 years.
OBC category, sir.
हाँ.
तो and ex-serviceman ପାଇଁ ବି sir 5 year relaxation ରହୁଛି.
Yes.
OBC ପାଇଁ ବି 5 year relaxation.
So either you can I'm not very sure on this. You can check the notification, but on my preliminary, whatever I know, I'm telling you that either you can take the relaxation of your ex-serviceman factor, or you can claim it being from OBC category. So it cannot be clubbed. So either
sir,
you take this or that.
ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି notification ରେ cumulative you may avail cumulative age relaxation କରିକି notification ରେ.
अच्छा.
କିନ୍ତୁ OCS ରେ ଏଟା ଲେଖା ହେଇନି, କିନ୍ତୁ UPSC notification ରେ ଏଟା ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି. ତ ଏଟା club ହେଇପାରିବ କି sir?
UPSC notification ରେ ଯଦି ଲେଖା ହେଇଥିବ, ମୁଁ ତ କହୁଛି ମାନେ I am not very sure. ଯଦି ଲେଖା ହେଇଥିବ then it should be clubbed. It should be clubbed. ମାନେ OBC ର ବୋଧେ 35 is the
35 sir. 32 plus 3. 32 plus OBC ପାଇଁ 3 sir. तो 35 years. Then ex-serviceman ପାଇଁ 5 years.
But I'm not very sure.
35 plus 5.
ମାନେ we'll check this. We have to read the notification exactly what it is saying. है ना?
ସେଥିରେ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି wording ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି sir cumulative age relaxation. You can avail cumulative age relaxation.
Manoj, in that case, if there is some interpretation doubts, then in that case you can call UPSC and ask them. They'll answer your doubt. They'll clear your doubt.
Okay sir. Okay. Okay, next sir, I would question sir regarding mains examination, sir. Everybody is talking about answer writing, sir, intro, body and conclusion, sir. So how can we start the strategy for intro? Nobody is talk about that strategy. How can you start the introduction? So can you, sir,
yes
give some
I'll talk
advice
about
about
introduction.
it?
Yes, yes. I'll talk about introduction. So now let's start the session. And once I end it, you can ask your individual doubts. Is that okay with everyone? Because in this way, we'll be getting late and I may not be able to answer all of your doubts. So generally, I should cover all these points. And I guess there are a lot of commonalities, whatever you are asking. So I should start the session. And by the end of the session, I guess everyone's doubt will be pretty clear. So the first question that came from your side is how to attempt the question and what the commission is looking in the candidate. What are the attributes that a candidate should have to enter civil services? Exactly, that is the thing UPSC is checking in you. Okay, first thing is a bureaucrat should have the credibility in him, that some general aptitude, like he should be able to draft an order. He should be able to understand what people are saying. The emotive skills in a bureaucrat should be there. He should have patience. He should have a good comprehension skill. He should also have leadership potential in him. What will be nourished and nurtured in your training academy. So even though you are not a leader, but you should have credentials in you so that it can be nourished. So that way the examination pattern to look these attributes, or to search for these attributes, the UPSC has designed the civil services examination in that way. So I told you that patience is necessary, understanding is necessary. So the question will be bit not so direct in nature. They will be indirect. You have to comprehend the question, and after comprehending the question, you should have the basic knowledge base. You should have the basic knowledge base to answer those questions. Somebody, some noise is coming from somebody's mic. So everybody, you please mute your mic so that I can talk uninterruptedly. Yes. Deepak, can you put everybody's mic except for me on mute?
Yes, sir. Actually, I have done that one. So I am all once again requesting you all to mute your mic while Ashish sir is speaking. So last after that we can actually ask question. So for the timing, please put your mic in mute position. Yeah, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so we are talking about that you should have understanding, you should have comprehension capability, and you should have patience. UPSC is, I am very clear on this, that you also bear it in your mind very clearly. UPSC is not looking for very intelligent ones. Like very intelligent student, we are not in search for. They can do research, they can be scientific officers in ISRO, DRDO, they can do wonders there. But we want hardworking individual with basic common sense. When common sense is necessary, then UPSC will put the question in its exam to test your common sense. Everything you cannot study from your textbooks. 60-70% of your questions will be indirect in nature. So something you will apply that you have studied from your textbook, and from your common sense, you will write 30% in at least 60-70% of the mains question. Then that is actually, common sense is a thing that, I am very sorry to say this, but that cannot be inculcated in an individual. So if you do not have that aptitude in you, means which is actually genetic or which is something your nature, it cannot be nurtured. So that common sense has to be built in within you so that you can apply it while writing answers. And that common sense also comes in spontaneously. Means whenever you will be attempting a question, something will crop up in your mind automatically that you'll write. See, they are putting case studies in ethics paper. So there you don't have to read much. And there are no standard books also. So, okay, whatever is there in the syllabus, that is mentioned in the syllabus, each and everything you have to read. But after that, it is your inherent capability. Okay, I'm clear on that. Next thing is, these are those things that commission is looking at you. You should not be very intelligent, you should be hardworking, and you should have some basic common sense. Like, you may be seeing some people who are just a owner of a shop or who will be pulling rickshaws, they will be having more common sense than you or me, and they are the people who should be in administration. Just because they don't have their degrees with them and our educational academic system is so, they are not entering. So okay, anyways, then how to prepare for the exam? What is in you, what is not in you, UPSC has to check. But what is wrong with giving a try? Let's try it. No, if it is there, then UPSC will automatically take you in. Okay, then what is possibly best in part of ours, that we should do? We should do our best. I mean, we should give our 100%. We should do every bit of hard work that is needed for the examination. Then rest is upon UPSC and God. But I am telling you one more thing, that lock is not very essential in this examination to crack this examination. If you will look at me, then I started preparing for this examination in 2011 and 20, towards the end part of 2012. I appeared the examination in 2013. Right from my first attempt, in that first attempt only, I appeared for interview and scoring very good in men's examination. And consistently, whenever I have written men's, actually, whenever I have appeared the examination, every time I have appeared interview. That part is very clear that luck is not needed. Had it been for luck, I would not have been going to Dholpur house every time I appear the examination, right? But what is law? All of you know that IAS is still ruling the list of services. I am in IRS. So those 10 or 15 marks, when you are short, and because of your bad fortune or good fortune, I don't know. Anyway, okay, those 10-15 marks, that is luck. You do not have any control to get that 10-15 marks. Either you can get 10-15 surplus, or you can be 10-15, you will be lagging behind 10-15 marks what is required to get into IAS. And so you should not be discouraged. Once you are doing the hard work and the requisite brain or common sense is there with you, then you are destined to clear this examination. Okay, then I'll be talking about patience. That many of you, one student was telling that he has appeared this examination 4 times, but only for once he has written mains. No worries. There are candidates, you will be surprised to know that in 2014 or 15, UPSC revised the scheme, and UPSC gave 2 more attempts who applied for the examination back in 2011, right? I have one fellow colleague who is actually junior. Till then, she had not qualified even for mains. 6 times means all of her attempts were over. So when the relaxation came in, so 1 more attempt she was able to give, and in that attempt she got a rank of some 100 something or 200 something. She was by skipping IPS, she chose IRS. That is her own choice. It is everybody's choice to choose the service. But her rank was something significant, means something praiseworthy. And she was working in, as some people were talking about job. job, right? I am coming to the next question, and I am citing an example through her. She was working as assistant commissioner of police in Haryana, in Chandigarh commissionerate, right? But still, she was able to manage time. So once you have the willpower and you do your preparation very smartly, what we need is not voluminous work. Voluminous, you should not be working like a donkey. You should be swift, you should be intelligent, and there should be smart hard work, not hard work alone. So 10, 15 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, these are all myth. Only for if you study 4 to 5 hours per day, that is going to suffice. 4 to 5 hours is enough. But while you are appearing mains, that phase is very important. After prelims, when you are preparing for mains, then you may be needing like 8 to 10 hours per day. So you have to manage that. And once you are entering this elite sector, you have a desire to enter this. This is a elite service, to be very clear. All bureaucracy is still elite. I don't know what will happen in next 10, 20 years, but still this is very enterprising, and all of you are welcome here. All your desires will be met. Okay, whatever human desire. Many of you, if at all you are having conversation with civil servants, many of them will be cribbing about, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. Human desires are unlimited. Nothing can satisfy you. So okay, without wasting so much time on that, I'll talk about job. How she managed to be in a tough job, like police is a tough job, IPS is a very tough job, because you have to be 24/7 a lot. You have to be on call anytime. A citizen, though for citizens sometimes they are unreachable, but anytime your superior can summon you and can put you in some duty. And likewise, it is also true for banking officials or software engineers. It is not alone for police, or even we are also working very hard. Once you are in investigation or somewhere, then you can hardly spend 2-3 hours for your own. Rest of the time you have to be devoted towards your work. So I'll talk about how to manage time. You will be working for 8 to 9 hours. If at all you are working more than that, then you are giving something to the company for which you are not getting the reward. You should demand for it, right? So ideally, I am assuming that all of you are working for 8 to 9 hours. So after that, a day has 24 hours. After that, you have 15 hours in your hand. I am living, all the things. 9 hours you can finish it off. Whatever you have, you may talk to your girlfriend, you may do your daily household chores, etc. You can meet your fellow people, friends, family, but still you will be having 4 to 5 hours left. It is true for everyone. 4 to 5 hours, ideally, means who is not under so much of workload, he spends in a bizarre way, means without having any objective. You don't have any, you will be scrolling your phone, you will be looking at Facebook, you will be commenting on somebody's photo, or you will be Instagramming. That is not desired from you once you are aspiring for civil services. 4 to 5 hours on a single day, you have to anyhow manage. But again, how to, what to study in those 4 to 5 hours? This is a huge syllabus. Questions will be also very difficult. How to manage? You don't need to study what is not required in the examination. Let me be very clear on this. That I have already, we are taking Utkal Pragati's class. So one PDF is there, one PDF or a slide is there, probably PowerPoint presentation is there, that I'll share with Deepak. He may forward it to you all. There I have written what are the materials that need to be read. Okay. So I have written about everything, means how to approach pre, polity, economy, etc. Whatever comes in our examination, and how to approach in mains, and how to approach in interview. Actually, interview preparation is not something separate, or prelim on and mains. These two preparations are also not watertightly separate. They go hand in hand. Along with your preparation for prelim, you get emboldened for mains, and likewise when you will be preparing for your mains, you have sound knowledge base for the next year's prelim. God forbid you crack in one single attempt, but generally I am speaking, don't be discouraged, okay, that so many attempts I have to write. No, in single attempt also you can do well, provided you are doing well in your interview. Okay, next point is how to manage those 4 to 5 hours. See, who are beginning, they have to anyhow study the standard books like NCERTs and all the books that I have mentioned there. So standard books, once you read with 100% attention, your attention should not be divided. You should not be looking at your mobile while you are studying something. Okay, so let me get my charger because this is going to, otherwise class will be interrupted.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it okay?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure. So your attention should not be divided. You should be with your 100% while you are studying. In that way, if I'll give an example that you have to finish Lakshmikant off, because Lakshmikant is very important for quality. At least you need to revise Lakshmikant for 25 times before your prelims examination. Otherwise, you are going to commit some mistakes and what will be very hazardous for you. You will not be selected. You will not be selected in prelims if you will do at least 2-3 wrongs in polity questions, because polity is something that every serious candidate, they'll answer the questions correct. So you cannot afford to commit something wrong in polity answers, polity questions in prelims. Okay. So now we'll talk about how much time actually do you need to finish Lakshmikant. It requires 20 hours, 20 hours, or maximum 28 hours, all the chapters. Means 4 to 5 chapters will be repetitive in nature. Once you cover, that is why I am emphasizing on smart work. Once you finish the basic fundamentals, like what is federalism, what is written constitution and unwritten constitution, then how is our governance structure, then what is basic structure of the constitution. These are the very basic things of polity. Once you finish this, for finishing basics, you can also study our Constitution at Work, that is class 11 NCERT book. Okay. Class 11 NCERT book, that is important for polity. So you will be clear on your basics, then you can go to advanced things in polity. So once you study your basics, then directly you will jump to Parliament chapter. In Parliament, most of the things will be covered. Okay. Then all other things will be cakewalk for you. So I am telling you, you should not take more than 20 hours to finish maximum. That is first reading. And in the first reading, you should try to get maximum things. You should interpret the things very correctly, right from the first reading. Because unnecessarily, if you put some doubts, then that is going to be counterproductive for you in the coming days. Because you will be sitting in though, you will be thinking that those are correct interpretation, and you will be wasting time on that. Later on, you will be realizing that, oh, that was the thing, I interpreted in this way. So you should not nurture any doubts in you. You should get it clear from your own resources. So in that way, you can manage your time. Then I'm coming to newspaper. So newspaper, in my opinion, my personal opinion, is very, very important. Either you can read The Hindu or Indian Express. The newspaper, what it does is, it inculcates the actual qualities that is needed in the examination. So there is no escape route from newspaper. Some people, they'll suggest you that you don't read newspaper, you read any monthly magazine, that will suffice. No, you read newspaper, because in that way your vocabs will be rich, your interpretation ability will be very rich, and it will give an analytical ability to you. And analytical ability and logic, these are the things that enrich your common sense. I'll not say build your common sense, enrich your common sense. What is going to come very handy in your mains examination. And more importantly, with newspaper, if you cover newspaper daily, then your essay writing ability will be very strong. You will be writing quality essays. I had 140 in essay in my first attempt, and never ever I have faltered in essay. All the time I have been in the top 10 or 20 in essay marks. So in that way, I am suggesting you that you should not skip newspaper. But then you will ask me how to read newspaper, because newspaper is a voluminous thing. It will take your entire day if you will read all the news articles. No, all the news articles are not important for you. You will read newspaper according to the syllabus and previous year questions. And once I am also suggesting you that you read the syllabus daily. Once you read the syllabus daily, then syllabus will be right in your mind. So whenever you come across a news article, the thing that is required as per the syllabus, that you will screen out and will be making a note, will be jotting it down. So, and by the way, the habit of screening out important things will not be inculcated in you right from the first day. Gradually, you can know what is important and what is not important. For example, if some news article came about judiciary or overreach of judiciary or judicial activism, that news you have to study. But each and every judgment of any XYZ High Court, you may skip. But something is news for more than a month, means every day it is hitting the headlines. Then that news becomes automatically important, like Sabarimala case. Okay. So that is the way to read newspaper. Then the newspaper should not take more than 1.5 hours. But at least 1.5 hours you should spend on the newspaper. So 1.5 hours on the newspaper. Then some standard books while you'll be starting your preparation. Then 2 hours on a standard book. Then 2 hours in your optional. So in 5.5 hours, you can cover a lot of things. This I am telling for the working professionals who are solitarily, entirely devoted to civil services preparation. For them, the preparation goes a little bit different. Because, see, when you are going to achieve something big, you have to take some risk. Take it in writing, write it on your wall. That you have to venture into some risk. Because you may have seen that there are several kinds of mutual funds. A mutual fund that is highest rewarding is also highest risk taking, isn't it? Likewise, anything in life is such that where risk is big, the outcome, the probable outcome is also big. So when you are aspiring to be in those select 600 or 700, those handful of candidates of India, then you have to take some risk. For working candidates also, you can take sometimes CL or EL when the boss is allowing you. Because without doing so, you cannot crack civil services examination. So, tame jodi dita nare pada dabo, you'll belong to nowhere. You'll be lost. There is a probability that you may also fall down in the middle of the river. Then there will be no hand to rescue you. So, you can continue with your job. I am not at all discouraging you, but find out some time for the preparation. Means you have to be very committed. Once you have made up your mind that I will prepare for this examination, then anyhow, the heaven may fall, the earth may break. Anyhow, you have to manage at least 5.5 hours on each and every single day. All right. Then I was talking about the preparation is a bit different for those candidates who are entirely devoted towards this. You can take your time. You can read NCERT in great detail. You can underline the NCERTs. Then you can read the, like, who are in job. If they are reading, they are studying world history from vision material, who are not in a job and entirely into civil services preparation, they can prefer Jain and Mathur. So there the strategy of preparation is a bit different. Both are going to be rewarding. Then it depends on how you interpret and how your execution skills are. Okay, then you may read a lot of things. You may write also a lot of things. You may jot down a lot of things in a notebook. But how much you are going to reproduce in your examination, in your answer script, that is important. So whatever you are studying and making a note of it, don't forget to revise it. Revision is utmost important. And here means it is very important that the source you are referring to, that should be the source right from the day you start your preparation to the day you enter civil services. So your source should be single. You should give repeated reading to the same source. Am I very clear? You should be repeatedly reading from the same source, not something from here, something from there. No. Then I'll be talking about coaching material. I personally don't suggest you to take any coaching for general studies. Okay. But the candidates who are really in a need of coaching, they can prefer coaching, no issue in that. But GS can be self-managed if you have proper guidance. Here is guidance is necessary. Guidance is necessary, but it can be self-managed. There are books that the PDF that I'll share with Deepak. That PDF contains all the books that you need. So once you read those books and you are able to get by your self understanding and you are making a good note of it, coaching is not necessary. But yes, to some extent, for some students, I'm telling, for some students, coaching is necessary and it expedites the process. Because like I am telling you something, I will be hitting upon the areas what is asked in the examination. So in that way, but there is no hard and fast rule. Okay, I was talking about coaching institute material. I am suggesting you not to take coaching, but I am not suggesting you not to read their material. Because you know, some people who are failing in mains or failing in interview, they are the people who design their monthly magazines. They are the content developer. So they are good candidates. Maybe they are not executing well in the exam. That is why they are in the other side. But they can make good materials for the aspiring students. So you should refer to at least one monthly magazine. If not monthly magazine, then you can refer to that, you know, towards prelim they will be publishing their entire thing in a
excuse
single
me,
cancel.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, remaining time is popping up. It may end in another 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Deepak sir, please manage it.
Yeah, actually, sir, Zoom meeting has this limitation. Actually, 40 minutes it is showing, so that's what it is doing. So,
Okay, we'll take another 40 minutes after this if everybody is ready, because I am not finished with
yes,
the
sir.
queries that you asked me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can devote another 40 minutes because I'll also not be satisfied once you are not satisfied.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
I was ready for.
Yeah.
I came prepared for 1.5 hours.
Yes, sir.
But the meeting may extend further because
yes,
I want all of your queries to be addressed.
Yes, sir.
So after this session ends, we'll take 5 minutes break.
Yes,
then
sir.
We'll do another 40 minutes.
Yes, sure, sir. That is good, sir. That is definitely will.
Okay. So whatever time is left, let's make the best use of it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you should read the concise material prepared by the coaching institute towards the prelim examination, like PT 365 of Vision Institution, that Vision IS.
Yes.
Okay. Then some people asked how to concentrate. If you are not committed 100%, then you will not be concentrated. So that nobody can make you learn how to concentrate. If you have a dream and you are 100% devoted towards dream, if it is that kind of a dream what is not making you sleep, then only you can desire for entering civil services. Otherwise there is no way out. Nobody can teach you how to concentrate. Just one thing, that you have to remain 100% motivated for this exam. And another thing, that repeated failures in examination makes you demotivated. But how to counter that? You should read the success stories. Okay, like I was referring to Poonam Dalal, you know, that girl who has cracked in the 7th attempt. So she is one finest example how not to get demotivated even though you fail. And that confidence, the people who are confused what I am talking, you please make note of it, otherwise you will forget. You'll be thinking that in your dream I had a pleasant session with sir, but at the end of the day you will be forgetting everything what I told you, right? So less than a minute is there. So that is the way to concentrate. If you are cracking prelim then failing in mains, in the next attempt you are cracking mains then failing in interview. So that itself is a motivator. In the next attempt, you can think of cracking the examination as a whole. But if you are failing right from the prelims, that is a demotivator. To counter that, you have to read success stories, or you have to speak somebody who can encourage you. You need to speak to your well-wisher, you need to speak to your parents, brothers, etc. And some good novels to distract your mind, to find that escape route from demotivation. That also you can try.